All right, then hi and welcome to this session of our d.velop online forum 2021. Today we will be dealing with QM documents and how to have those right at your fingertips with our solution based on d.velop Microsoft 365. My name is Lukas and I will be taking you through the agenda that we can see here on this slide right now. So we will be starting with a short theoretical part all about quality management and document management in the QM context and the challenges that may go along with that before getting to the approach of our solution, how we deal with quality document management, and of course we want to give you a live view on that as well. To get a better idea and understanding of the look and feel of the solution, and afterwards doing a short wrap up. So what did we see in the presentation today, and what did we hopefully learn from that? So speaking about quality management in general, I asked myself, well, what is quality management good for? What are the important parts of the quality management? So on the one side, you do have like standards and regulation in your business areas, for example. But the main part of quality management in the end and in the long run is often the customer and the market you are serving with your products and with your services. And of course, you want to do so with a quality as good as possible. So these are really the main points that we do see here. So the customer is in the focus. You as a company and organization want to meet the requirements of your customer and of course enhance your customer satisfaction in the context of your organization's purpose and strategic goals in the end. So not only connected to regulations, but especially in the long run, being focused on the customers that you are serving with your products and services. So coming from that general idea, what are the main drivers of quality management? On the one side, we do see external drivers such as the regulations just mentioned. So that could be ISO standards, GXP standards, or the FDA that may as well relate to the industry you are working in with your business and that you are serving. So these are rather external factors that are given by the industry that you need to follow, no question on that, and we do see that in our various customer projects as well. But the question here is that the right main driver to go for quality management in a structural way? So we do have this second point here that you can see on the slide. So these are the more proactive drivers. So you as a company mainly want to gain a competitive edge by doing quality management, or if you are already in that position, want to maintain this edge. So basically, you want to avoid pains in general regarding your products, regarding your services, when it comes to those not being the quality that you are going and looking for. So you want to improve the compliance in general, of course. You want, by making use of quality management solutions, want to improve your growth as a company, of course. And what we see here in the bottom part is, of course, the motive that already here is repetitive. So looking at the customer experience by making sure that your products and services are as high quality as possible with the internal quality management. So coming from main drivers of quality management, I would like to take a look at the main disciplines here. So what we see on this slide is basically a pie chart we made up with several disciplines of quality management, and these are equal parts because obviously all of those are very important when speaking about quality management, but what we did highlight here is the document control part, and this is where we are focusing on with our solution, because we see a huge basic part with the document control that can absolutely be a starting point and a basis for all other parts of quality management inside your organization. Especially in these times of digitization, it is important to go for a good and good structured solution helping you with document control. So why document control as a critical aspect of a QMS, a quality management system, and what is part of this document control aspect. So what we see here in the first place are obviously the business critical documents, and to effectively control and provide those documents to all stakeholders, to your employees, to your customers that may directly use them. So speaking about SOPs, work instructions, general manuals maybe, and by making sure that those are available at the latest version, so every time up to date and easy and fast accessible, you have the opportunity to reduce mistakes in general, reduce the mistakes that would otherwise avoid unnecessary costs that you absolutely don't want to have, of course. So speaking here about general fines, penalties, or legal fees in general that may result out of mistakes during producing your products or services or providing them. Coming back to the quality management that may not be there in the first case. So this is essentially important, of course, in the medical industry, for example, or if you are a producing industry, that may affect you as well, speaking about the economic part of quality management here. And in the third place, or as a result of this, you can see here, again, we are focusing on the customer, focusing on our other stakeholders, maybe creating a trustful bond and trustful relationship here to really satisfy our customers, but as well other stakeholders. For example, let's not forget about our employees, that we can give a huge feeling of security by providing them with always the latest documents within our quality management system. So coming from that basis, what is our approach when talking about quality management systems? So what you did already see, or maybe did already had in mind, is that for us, quality and document management is not only a box to tick in audits. So it's not only audit related. It's not only about regulations that you need to meet with your organization, but the more important part is really to provide quality related documents to your employees, to the users, to the stakeholders, right at their fingertips. So exactly where they need them, exactly when they need them, to make them able to go for the right decisions, and of course to guarantee consistency and quality for your outcomes for the customers and the market in the long run. So a few words about the live part that we will be seeing in the next minutes. We split that up into basically two parts. So we will be starting with the user part, the user view of things. So how can users and employees access documents in our system as easy as possible and directly from where they are working. And the second part will be dealing with the document control part, more the compliance viewpoint of things. So we will be talking about the workflow, the process in behind. So how can we make sure that the publishing of documents to the users is always traceable and can be designed based on your requirements and needs here, speaking about the process. So as you know, d.velop for Microsoft 365 is obviously based on Microsoft 365 and mainly even based on the SharePoint as an infrastructure. So here we can see as an example, the intranet. We did call it the digital workplace in here. And this all is, of course, web-based. So you are free to design that based on your needs and your structures within your organization. And what we did here is to set up a general QM process map, for example. This is based on our demo case. Again, you could build that up just as your organization works, as you are structured inside here. And what we would like to do is to jump directly into the sales part here, so the sales process related QM documents. And what you can see now is the Develop Center, our smart user interface for all QM users or generally users inside of your organization. And you see here there are several documents stored, including what we call metadata or properties, giving even more information about these documents. And what I can do now is, for example, to use these properties to filter down. So we do have a specific form here if I just want to see that. And in the top right corner you can see the option to filter or set up your very own and individual views. So if you have repetitive use of views that you want to make use of, you can just go with this standard setup. So as a user, you do have the option to use this browse functionality. If you just want to get yourself an overview of the documents within the sales process here, you would just use it, and then you can have a look at the documents, can interact with those, can download those as well. So this was only the first example how to access those documents via the process map. Right now we can see the quality documents subsite within SharePoint, and what we see here is our quick search as another easy and fast access. So we just go via the quick search into the sales process again, and same story here. We do see the sales related QM documents within the Develop Center. What gets more and more important throughout the time for many organizations, and we do see that with our customers as well, is Microsoft Teams. So more and more companies do work with Teams, and here again, we can integrate into Teams. The integration part is a real important one because we want to get the users where they are daily working, and not to drag them into a separate system for those QM documents. So in this example, we go along with the HR department, so the HR workers could just access the QM related HR documents directly from within Teams. Another example could be, for example, project management related documents. So here we do see there's a new project, a new team is created for that, and again we integrate in the standard into this, and the project colleagues can directly have a look into that again. So besides Teams, what is used more and more right now, of course, Outlook is another tool that is used, or still very common in the working world. And what you see here on the right-hand side is our Develop sidebar, in a full integration client that integrates into Microsoft Outlook. And we do see here the sales-related documents again, so we can drill down in our structure that we set up in the demo system here. But this goes not only based on processes as we just saw, but as well if we take a look below, we can build that up with departments as well. So reminding you of the HR context that we just had in Teams, or thinking about regulations and audits. On the other hand, we could go for ISO clauses, for example, or ISO chapters. So building that up, getting ready for audits, directly having those QM documents at hand when it comes to an audit. And all of that can be done based on your individual requirements and structures as well. So if you do come from the medical part of industries or the producing industry, you might be interested in a view based on certain products and documents related to those products. So this could be an additional dimension here as well that we could just add within a project we're doing with you. So besides Outlook, we do have the capability with the sidebar to integrate into other Office applications, just like Word here, for example. So same story short, it's the exact same structure that we do see here in the same documents. We can set favorites for ourselves. We can make use of the search functionality here. So searching is based upon metadata and properties on the one hand, but can be done really within documents based on their contents on the other. So I would just like to open this leave request form here, and out of the Develop sidebar I can directly work with it. So going back to the general starting point of SharePoint here, we have seen some integrational aspects. So that is really the main idea that we have to have the QM documents right at the fingertips where the users are working. And what we can see now as a last example, for example, we do have a sales subsite in SharePoint that we see here, and we just put a link into it to say to the users, well, here are your QM documents. Just click on this link and you will be directed to the Develop Center, being able to make use of the documents stored here. So really the main idea is to give the QM documents and the QMS directly to the users from where they are working instead of dragging them to another separated system. So that was the first part, or the first viewing point onto the system from the user perspective, talking about from where to access the system, what options do we have. As I mentioned, we do have the opportunity to individualize all of that based on your specific needs as a customer. And what we do want to look at now is further the document control part. So we can see that at the bottom part here. What is the workflow diagram, I would call it. So you can see, starting with basically the second point, we could just create a document, edit it as far as it is needed before it goes through all of the steps like verification, approval, and final publishing, what is normally done by the QM team in the end. What is also an option is after the document has been published once and reaches its revision date, then the process would start all over again with a review process. So the QM team has the option to decide whether a change in this document is needed or not. And to give you a short overview of what's in the box here in the backend with the standard solution, we do see here a table with the several columns. So the several workflow steps here: verification, approval, publishing, and that can be again designed based on your needs. For example, with this revision profile of sales documents, we will always be having the defined responsible persons in here, and that will exactly be the use case that we want to look at in the next step. So going ahead to the Develop Center again, that we just saw in the first part of this live session already. Here you see some more documents, and please pay attention on the top part here. So you have the QM documents, which are the published ones. So the users do have only access in the first place to these. And the QM team would work in this second area, so QM revision documents. And you see in the second column, the versioning here is always below 1. So these documents have been created, yes, but are still worked on, have not been published, have not gone through the workflow. So we're able to do that based on permissions. So the users really do have only access to the published documents. And what we want to do here is to create a new document in this use case via our template manager. Of course, you can upload other full documents as well. For example, external documents coming from your supplier in that supply chain. But we would go with this template in this example use case. And you see here, from the context where we were in the Develop Center, directly the metadata and properties are taken over and filled in here, and we could go for a revision profile. Speaking about sales documents, what we just saw in the backend already, and that determines the flow our process takes in the next steps. Additionally, we can assign various or additional dimensions here, as we saw in the user part in the first one. So I would like to add one or several ISR clauses. I would like to add a department view here as well. And here again, all of those metadata can be added, can be changed based on your needs. So whatever you would need inside of this metadata set can be added, and these metadata help us structure it all, put that into the right organization, and put everything into the right place so it can be found rather easily. So what we would do now is just to start the workflow. So in this case, it's done rather easily just by hitting this button. And in the next step, we would jump from one user to the other within this workflow. So we just had the user account of Austin Fraser. So we will see in this mail just coming in that Austin requested the verification of our QM document that we just created. And right now we are in the context of Judith Rover, who is the responsible verification person in here. So Judith has the option to just jump into the Develop Center, have a look at the document, have a look at the metadata, get herself an overview of what was requested there by Austin, and then say, okay, I do approve, I do verify that. But she can not only do so via Outlook, but as well, for example, as we see here, again via Microsoft Teams. So depending on her preference where she will work, the main part of her day, she can just choose for that. So same story here. She can jump via this link into the Develop Center, or she could just type in the comment here. So yeah, that's okay for her. And she said, all right, this is verified. So then we do see here directly in Teams the workflow status changes, and what comes in very handy with Microsoft 365 is that this email notification automatically updates itself, so Judith won't do any double work here. So yeah, depending on her working environment, she can choose for example, Outlook or Teams if she like. So stepping over into the next workflow or process step, we are now in the user context of Matthias. Matthias is our approver here. And same story again, Matthias can jump into the Develop Center, have a look at the document and the metadata. But what we see here now in addition is the audit trail that we have in the backend. So Matthias can see that Judith already verified that document. It's okay for her. He can read her comments. He can have a look at the workflow date. So he gets all information he needs. And in the end, he says, well, okay, that's approved by me, and I will just send the workflow into the next step. The next step is as well the final one, so the publication by the QM team, and we are now in the user context of Sabine, and Sabine can basically do the same, have a look at the Develop Center, get herself an overview. We will just jump over that step in a second. So based on that notification, to make things a little more quick here, we could just go into the publication step, add a short comment, and then say submit. That's okay for her. She will just publish the document. And what happens now in the system are two things. So we can have a quick look at the audit trail here again. So not only the step of Judith obviously is available here, but also what Matthias and Sabine added to the system. So you have it at any time traceable what happened to the document before it is published. And here again, we are now in the published area of our system. So this document that we just created was published, is available for any user in the system, and has a calculated revision due date as well. So in this example, we just went 1 year ahead. After 1 year, the revision workflow will go in, will come back to the QM team, so the QM team can decide on whether the document needs a change or not. So as you see, we are right now in the project management process. And as we did before in the creation part of the document, we assigned some other dimensions as well. So we could just have a quick look into the sales part here. So it's related with the sales department in this example. So if we go directly to sales department, we see exactly the same document in here that we just created. So no copy of the document, but just several and various ways of accessing those documents for the users, very easy from their context here. So in the end, what did we see? On the one side, the user perspective, accessing documents from everywhere that they might work or need those, and not dragging them into several systems. And on the other hand, the opportunity to really go for document control in the end, to have everything traceable, to have documents only published then after the responsible persons verified those and approved those. And normally, in the end, the QM team says, well, okay, I want to publish this. I want to make this available for the users and, for example, my customers as well. So, coming from that live part and the theoretical part before, doing a short wrap up here. So, what did we see? What did we hopefully learn in the past few minutes? Yeah, basically, the first point here is really connected again to the title of this slot, making QM documents available at the fingertips of the users in their daily operations, avoiding information silos, so having a central system, absolutely having that, but making it accessible from different points of work of your users. And we are doing so with the integrations shown, which is the second point here. So what we did see is an Outlook integration or Office integration, for example, speaking about Microsoft Teams, but there's as well the opportunity to integrate the solution into your ERP system, into your CRM system, you name it. So basically any line of business application that you would like to have, because it's a web and SharePoint based solution. We do have various options here. What we did not yet speak about is the inclusion of frontline workers. You may or may not have those colleagues inside of your organization, so we left that out for the moment, but we're absolutely happy to speak with you about that in a certain project or a certain presentation we may make for you in detail. So that can be an absolutely important fact as well. And last but not least, coming back to that point, why is quality management so important? Why is it so important to go for document control and a quality management system? So that's not only important for regulated companies. We do see that in various projects with our customers, that this is a driver. So regulations and standards, absolutely here. But we think that this quality management part is as good as important for organizations that would like to be more competitive, customer focused, and of course reliant and trusted in the end. So that brings me to my last slide. I would just like to say thanks for listening. Thanks for attending the d.velop forum in this year in this online format. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact me or us and all the other developers in general, of course. If you would like to go for an individual presentation and would like us to go into more detail about the solution and exchanging about your ideas regarding quality management, contact us as well. We're absolutely happy to do so. And make sure to attend the other sessions the other day. Make sure to have a look at our fabulous keynotes with our great speakers. So I hope you enjoy the d.velop forum and hope to see you soon in person. Thanks.